Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick.
And my name is Chris. And Nick, what do we got in store today?
Today, Chris, we've stumbled across this article talking about MoneyGram, Ripple, XRP, and all that good stuff. So if you do find this useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really appreciates it, as do I. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, Chris, should we just dive straight on into this news from MoneyGram here to find out what's going on?
Yeah, let's get straight into it, Nick.
Fantastic. Right, so MoneyGram distances itself from Ripple, says it doesn't utilize a RippleNet. So basically, MoneyGram is shedding some light on the nature of its partnership with Ripple. Right, so MoneyGram transfers service, global money transfer service, MoneyGram, has clarified the nature of its collaboration with its blockchain partner Ripple, following the latter's response or recent probe by the US Securities and Exchange Commission. So, going on with the SEC, the damage is still rolling out a little bit. So in a press statement issued on the 23rd, MoneyGram revealed that it has never utilized Ripple's counterparty service, namely on-demand liquidity and RippleNet for Forex transactions. As a reminder, MoneyGram does not utilize the ODL platform or RippleNet for direct transfers of consumer funds, digital or otherwise. Furthermore, MoneyGram is not a party to the SEC action. So, again, very clear to see they come out here and just, we utilize XRP, but we do not use the ODL, and we do not, use RippleNet. Furthermore, as they say there, that the SEC has absolutely nothing, no involvement, no action on MoneyGram either. So here's the quote, right? So MoneyGram has continued to utilize its other traditional FX trading counterparties throughout the term of the agreement with Ripple, and is not dependent on the Ripple platform to accomplish its FX trading needs. And that's really interesting, isn't it, Chris? Because we say this before, if Ripple were to just disappear overnight, guess what? Business still carries on, right? Despite what the US and the SEC might like to think. Ultimately, they are the anomaly here. The rest of the world and everything else, it's perfectly fine. Don't even need Ripple in this scenario. And that's the beauty of this open-sourced, decentralized XRP ledger, right? You don't necessarily need Ripple in that scenario. And again, that just kind of confirms, Chris, that XRP is not a security for those people who are still in doubt. If it was a security, XRP would disappear when Ripple would disappear. But if Ripple disappears, guess what still remains? That's XRP and the XRPL, because it's open source decentralized, despite many's opinions on that, including the SEC's. So back in June 2019, Ripple and MoneyGram entered into a strategic partnership for cross-border payments. As part of the collaboration, Ripple was to invest up to $50 million in exchange for MoneyGram stock, right? So in February, MoneyGram also revealed an additional $11.3 million investment from Ripple. However, as previously reported by Cointelegraph here, that Ripple has sold $15 million worth of its stake in MoneyGram. Okay, so that was basically just to realize, for the shareholders that there's a return on their investment in MoneyGram. They didn't sell it all. They still have shares in MoneyGram to this day. So MoneyGram's revelation is not being dependent on Ripple's services falls in line with previous events. Earlier this year, the money transfer giant debuted a real-time remittance service based on Visa and not its blockchain partner. Another Ripple collaborator, Intermex, also revealed back in March that it wasn't using the company's platform for remittance in its core market. So MoneyGram's statement is the latest in a series of actions against Let me start that sentence again. MoneyGram's statement is the last in a series of actions taken by companies with relation to either Ripple or XRP. On Wednesday, investment fund Bitwise Asset Management liquidates its XRP holdings, and each kind of has to review their own circumstances, don't they, Chris? It might be in their best interest to do so, whereas others it might not be. So everyone's doing what they feel is best at this crucial time. So several crypto exchanges have also started to delist XRP token, with Coinbase reportedly considering its options. The fallout of the SEC lawsuit has also exerted negative pressure on the XRP price action, shedding over 30% on Wednesday. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously the SEC kind of went out and said that basically exchanges don't need to delist anything if they can basically continue as they are with securities for the next 5 years. No action will be taken. Which is really counterintuitive. It's very hypocritical of an agency that is supposed to be there to protect the consumers and investors about these kind of things, right? And yet they're going after Ripple, saying that they're selling securities, or at least at the start they're saying that there was a security, and then they go ahead and say it's okay. You can continue selling it on exchanges. It's perfectly fine. Continue as you were, you dealer brokers, right? It's so counterintuitive. It makes absolutely zero sense. You cannot, as an agency set out to protect consumers, allow it to continue if you really truly believe that it is a security. So really counterintuitive, and as such, many states in the US are now suing the SEC over that decision. So absolutely foolish moves being made over there by the SEC, and they're kind of making the US look like fools right now to the global stage that they're on. This makes very, very little sense at the moment. Wouldn't you agree, Chris?
Yeah, I guess the only aspect that would concern me is the fact that they're going after Chris and Brad as well, because it's interesting to I guess find out what has actually been going on there. And obviously, my viewpoint is I don't want to comment on it too much, because I kind of want to treat them as if they're innocent until proven otherwise, right? But as for Ripple, for me it's still a strange one. I'm still scratching my head, trying to get my head around it, as to why they would do this. Just really bizarre. And obviously, the impact that it's had on XRP holders across the globe, when this is really just an American issue, is barbaric. To say the least. It's
caused multi-billion-dollar hurt across the entire globe here to innocent third parties. So the SEC have a lot to answer for. Jay Clayton, as he has some serious issues going on in his head. Surely, he's going to be one of the most hated people, this Christmas and festive period, right? I can't even put it into words. Just the level of just immorality. It's so immoral that it makes very little sense at all. For someone who was in charge of an institution that was designed and put in place to protect people, has caused devastation. I hope there's a lot more lawsuits, and I hope Jay Clayton was also personally sued for issues and things that he has caused. And I can see this thing getting quite nasty going forward, Chris.
I can too. We're already starting to see people distancing themselves when, for me, I feel that's a real shame to be distancing yourself before really anything's sort of come out and been detailed in lots of, fine detail. This is really a time to be supporting people that you work with that are trying to change the world to make it a better place. It's unusual. It's hard to come to terms with. There's lots of worry out in the market, which is understandable, right? But I still believe that we'll get through this. We said there were going to be turbulent times. I think this is just one of them, and I think there will be many others. But I still believe in what Ripple are doing. Still hold my XRP. That hasn't changed. and I'm going to continue to. If I go down with a ship, I go down with a ship.
Exactly, yeah, right. And this is bad for all cryptos, not just XRP. And people really need to understand that if the SEC did win this thing, this is the first project, company they'll go after. There'll be a long list of guys, big hitting guys that they'll go after for very similar things. So it is a big worry for the entire space, which is why you see multiple assets crashing at the same time, not just XRP. But that being said, this is a US issue, not a global issue, just a US issue. And for that reason alone, we know that Ripple is going to be fine. SBI came out and said, that basically 90% of Ripple's business is outside of the US, and 80% of the transaction volumes are outside of the US. So, ultimately, whatever happens between the SEC and Ripple, ultimately it's fine. And the business will continue. Whether they'll actually stay in the US is a totally different argument. They were talking about it before. They might just pick it up and move to somewhere else, such as the UK. London's a very regulatory friendly environment for XRP. And if the US want to alienate themselves out of that, you could definitely see some strategic moves happening here. SBI are quite open with everything as well, and they're huge partners over in Japan. So lots to really consider here. And the one thing that I was thinking, Chris, that was really kind of puzzling me was, obviously, if exchanges are allowed to continue with XRP for up to 5 years, and, the SEC are, not caring about consumers as they're supposed to in this particular scenario, hence the lawsuits against the SEC, then, they clearly do not think that XRP is a security at that point. And in which case, the whole foundation of the case against Ripple, is kind of almost void. There'll be a fine potentially for the initial, amount of XRP sold. What's going on with Brad and Chris are completely independent of Ripple, and I'll set that to one side. If they've done wrong, they've done wrong. That's on them. I'll let that kind of play out. But for Ripple, ultimately, it's very limited, and a very minor thing. With that being said, otherwise, the SEC really have to have a real good, strong look at themselves if they seriously do think it's a security to this day, and they're allowing consumers to still purchase XRP off exchanges. That is something that is unforgivable, and huge consequences should shed on that alone. But guys, it's interesting that MoneyGram are, and a whole host of others are distancing themselves. We're going to obviously continue reporting on any news that comes up on this one, keep you guys as informed as possible with this. But as Chris was saying, if XRP is going to zero, we're going to zero with it. We are not selling our XRP. If anything, as the price decreases more, we'll potentially buy that fear up because it's not a global issue, it's a US issue, and the rest of the world, it's perfectly fine. So we are not concerned at this point. Feel sorry for the US in all of this, and the countless individuals seriously hurt by the SEC's actions globally. And I seriously do hope that more lawsuits land on their desks, and that Jay Clayton has a really rough time in the next few months personally for everything that he's caused before stepping down in a nonsense move there. But guys, if you found this useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really appreciates it, as do I. And if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with that said, we hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care, everyone.